on behalf of the Lum Center for Entrepreneurship, I welcome you all to today's panel on the role of entrepreneurship centers in the modern economy. As a curator of today's panel, the Lum Center for Entrepreneurship has brought together leaders who sit at the intersection of innovation, industry, and education. And this intersection lies at the heart of the School of Tomorrow's mission to explore the future of learning, opportunity, and economic possibility. Entrepreneurship centers, whether within universities, the industry, or incubators, play a critical role in shaping how ideas become enterprises, how talent becomes capability, and how a country like Pakistan can really create engines of economic growth. So today's discussion will look at that full spectrum. We'll explore how startup support can really enable a business founder, digital transformation, how the informal economy, entrepreneurship is really bringing about change, university-industry linkages, and global trends with respect to regional innovation systems as well. So I've been introduced very effectively by our AI agent, John. So you all know I do represent the Lum Center for Entrepreneurship, and I've been tasked with moderating today's panel. But I am lucky that I'll be helped by a stellar sort of lineup of experts with me today, which will make my job very easy. So we'll begin with a quick round of introductions, and as I introduce the panel expert, I'd like them to please join me on stage. So we'll begin with Badr Khushnood. Badr is a pioneering tech entrepreneur who has shaped Pakistan's digital economy for over 2 decades. He served as the first local representative for Google, Facebook, and Twitter, spearheading their market entry and growth. He has co-founded leading market players such as Bramers, Fishery, and Publisher, driving SME and media digitization in Pakistan. He's also held key policy roles, including drafting Pakistan's first e-commerce policy and chairing Pakistan Software Houses Association. Thank you, Badr. I'd like to now invite Ahmed Khan on stage. Ahmed is a pioneering figure in Pakistan's e-commerce and technology sectors, known for founding Cheetah PK and helping launch Daraz. With over 20 years in consulting, logistics, and digital transformation, he's worked at McKinsey, Rocket Internet, and P&G. A Cambridge MPhil and LUMS graduate, Ahmed has driven large-scale business growth and innovation across multiple industries. Currently, he serves as the CEO for the Punjab Skills Development Fund. Finally, we have Ms. Minahil Zia. Minahil is Learning and Development Programs Lead at the Lum Center for Entrepreneurship, designing training for early and growth stage startups. Previously at NIC Lahore, she's worked in community engagement, founder coaching, and investor relations. With experience in leading investor summits, preparing startups for pitching, and co-developing incubation curricula, she brings strong expertise in entrepreneurial support. Thank you, everyone, for being here today and joining my panel. I really am honored that everyone agreed immediately to be part of this panel discussion. And today's focus is not only entrepreneurship per se, but how entrepreneurial enablers like all of us can really contribute to how entrepreneurship builds Pakistan's economy, not just in terms of growth, but the quality of growth that entrepreneurship can really bring. So I'd like to begin with Minahil. Minahil, your experience in managing incubation programs, acceleration programs is extensive. Let's start with, the basics. In your opinion, what are key success factors that really enable startups to scale and build businesses that really make a difference?
Thank you, Sabah. So, in my experience, it's not one or the other factor. I would say it's always a combination, right combination of 4 factors, which is, I count these as infrastructure, mentorship, then support in terms of funding, and then network. So these are the 4 key pillars I always see when supporting startups. And like, if I would like to elaborate on this, I would say infrastructure does not necessarily include only physical space. It also includes support in terms of financial and legal advisory, in terms of facilitating startups for prototyping support, and this definitely helps founders to move from ideation to market validation in a very effective and efficient manner. So infrastructure is always important for early stage ideas. Then comes mentorship, which is also a very transformative element, but if it is curated and it's needs based. So what I've seen so far in startups is that generic mentorship does not work. You have to find the stage of the startup and connect a mentor who can facilitate the startup in terms of connecting them to the actual real market experiences. So that's another important component. Then I find funding equally important as well, but that is also timing based. So let's say for idea stage startups, I would always look for grants, seed stage, small amount funding, or milestone-based investment that would encourage them to validate their market rather than just premature scalability. So also, like for founders, another important component is learning the investment readiness models. So they know how to invest capital and how to strategize capital rather than just looking for funding. Another component which amplifies all of these inputs is network. We as an incubator always has to look for right network for the founders, which includes industry connectivity, their connectivity with corporates, their connectivity with funding bodies, their connectivity with government organizations that can help them integrate their supply chains, that can help them raise funding and have global exposure. So I think it's just a right mix of all of these factors, and we have to look always for what stage the startup is at and how can we facilitate the stage accordingly. So yeah.
So Minahil ended with speaking about network, but there's a very important part of LCE's network. You've mentored a lot of startups as well. So I believe in addition to the sort of areas Minahil mentioned, you can also spot immediately what, can really help a startup grow in the kind of sort of trajectory you want to see. So are you able to maybe summarize what these factors are where you can tell right away कि अच्छा ये ingredients हैं and this startup will go far. And then also how enablers like us can use those ingredients to really build on, focus on.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Sabah. Absolutely, Ji. So, and thank you, Minahil, for the detailed perspective. My 2 cents would be, everything else aside, the passion of the founders really make a big difference on how passionate they are about their idea, and then how much can they sustain in terms of perseverance. Because if they can actually continue with their idea, continue executing, trying, pivoting, that's something which is super important for founders. Because I think the bigger challenge which I see is that we don't have a enabling environment from a policy perspective in Pakistan at all for startups. There's no continuity of policy. There is extreme trust deficit in public services. And then we are not a competitive country in terms of ease of doing business either. So with all those challenges in place, I think incubators and accelerators like LCE, they bring the fundamental infrastructure to that. but that infrastructure needs a lot of passion to be driven. And that's where if the founders' first instinct in terms of their dedication and their passion is something which I really look for and tells me whether they'll really cross that bridge or not.
Right. I think, so in my introduction, I spoke about how entrepreneurial enablers want to sort of cover the entire spectrum of entrepreneurship. And Ahmed, I'd like to bring you into the conversation because you're also working with skills development with a cohort or an audience that necessarily isn't part of formal incubation or acceleration or even, coming with a formal educational background. So if you could talk a little bit about the informal economy, the potential for entrepreneurship, particularly with respect to your role at PSDF, and perhaps how it's a little more unique than more formal channels of entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much. So a lot of the people we deal with, so actually let me step back. A lot of the people that are...
Is it on? Is your mic?
I think so. Can you guys hear me? Do you want to hear me? It's a bigger question, but anyway. When people talk about incubators and accelerators, a lot of the conversation is around tech, right? So tech seems to be the biggest sector that is catered for in these centers for entrepreneurship. Now, the people that sort of we train and we deal with, they're a little removed from big tech and sort of nobody's going to be building a SaaS solution, nobody's going to be building the next AI, LLM, use case. The people we deal with are sort of a little lower on the pyramid. So when we talk to them about entrepreneurship, some of the very innovative ideas we've come up with or we've heard are, someone wanted to make honey and sell it in their local village, and someone wanted to, make pickle jam and sell it. A couple of, the closest we've gotten to tech is these two girls. What they started doing was they set up an e-commerce website, and they would buy from these other e-commerce players like Outfitters and Llama and these, and they would bring it to their village, and then they would sell to the local market. So I think the important distinction between what we're trying to do and sort of what other incubators are trying to do is we're catering to a class which is does not have even whether complained about a policy and you talked about lack of access to capital. So just multiply that by a factor and sort of account for the people we're dealing with. So इनके लिए जो हम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं वो ये है कि we're trying to mentor them in business ideas that will provide local context. So we have a program that we're trying to get funding for, which is rural entrepreneurship centers.
Right.
So we're trying to set up a physical infrastructure space and then find mentors, as you mentioned, to teach them, okay, how are you going to set up, a barber shop? How are you going to set up a tailor shop, right? Or a stationery shop or a local printing business. So that's sort of what where we're approaching this from.
I think that's interesting that you bring that in, but even in formal incubators such as LCE, we meet a lot of stakeholders, that particularly those that are coming to LUMS from abroad or, different parts of Pakistan. And in their mind, an idea of a startup is very specific, tech-enabled, they're very global, they're thinking in terms of global markets as well. And I feel like as a center of entrepreneurship that's supporting these startups, maybe we even need to rethink our definition of what a startup is. So, someone who's selling honey and manages to scale is as good an idea as maybe someone who's setting up a very sort of high-tech e-commerce business. So, I want to bring you back into the conversation on how would you define a startup? Like, fundamentally, is there a specific definition, and is that definition different for Pakistan's ecosystem?
Yeah, so I define startup as an innovation-driven venture designed around a problem-solution fit and has the capability to scale. And this definition definitely includes idea stage and early validation stage startups. While I understand that scalability or potential to scale might not be clear at an idea stage, but that is totally acceptable for us because, of course, at an idea stage, if you are getting to incubate with us, then definitely the purpose of an incubator is to test hypotheses, help validate markets, refine business models, and then see the potential of scalability. So at that point, we are there to support and intervene. But at an idea stage, if I have to look at a startup, what I'll be looking at is majorly the clarity on the problem. And then market relevance and user validation. My third point would be the potential to innovate or differentiate. And fourth and most important is the founder's commitment. So I would see the balance of these four ingredients in an early stage idea if they are to be incubated. And then, of course, the incubator would help facilitate their growth and scalability potential if exists.
Emma, do you agree with that? I mean, you're an entrepreneur yourself, and now you've completely transitioned, right? So, आपका change हुआ definition over time of what a startup is?
So Simeon Badr were on another panel जब किसी ने पूछा था कि जी startup की definition बताएं. So you know State Bank has its own definition, SECP has its own definition. I really think we need to define it more broadly. We're doing a program with transgenders.
Right.
ठीक है जी. And that program, you know, Dr. Nabiha is in the audience. She's helping us figure out कि जी, what the impact of that is. And now, you know, these people, they want to set up a tailor shop. They want to set up a small little beauty salon. They want to set up a, you know, a home beauty service. I would call them entrepreneurs as well, right? Like, TK, they're providing a service. So there's nothing innovative. There's nothing scalable about that. But I think with apologies that we need to be a little more inclusive, you know, in our definition. I understand that, you know, how the incubators and accelerators are not going to cater to that. But that's where people like us have to step up and you know, cater to that.
Whether I'm going to... बिल्कुल
मैंने कहा पूछ लूं पहले कि लड़ाई कर सकते हैं कि नहीं. So I have a little different opinion on this. Not a different, but I would say I think we need to define it in a little more clarity. So I think एक तो small businesses हैं और एक startups हैं. पहले तो I think we need to differentiate between these two very clearly. Startups, I believe, are the ones जो अभी मिनाहिल ने define किए, जो tech enabled, fast growth, scalable, blah blah, आप जो भी उनको कहना चाहें. Standard entrepreneurship converts into small businesses, which is absolutely fine, and we also need that. उनकी ज़रूरत कितनी है, वो भी मैं थोड़ा सा आपको एक context दे देता हूँ. So, anyone has idea कि पाकिस्तान में छोटे और दरमियाने दर्जे के कितने businesses हैं? Anyone in the hall? हमारे पाकिस्तान में कितने छोटे और दरमियाने दर्जे के बिजनेसेस होंगे? SMEs जी मेजॉरिटी हैं, एब्सोल्युटली, बट क्वांटिटी या नंबर आइडिया अगर दैट्स परसेंटेज ऑफ व्हाट, लाइक व्हाट इज द एब्सोल्यूट नंबर? थैंक यू. एब्सोल्युटली तकरीबन 90% है SMEs. बट क्विकली स्पीकिंग इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में 7 मिलियन 70 लाख छोटे और दरमियाने दर्जे के बिजनेसेस हैं. बाय द वे ये भी हुकूमत पाकिस्तान को एग्जैक्ट नहीं पता, किसी को नहीं पता, क्योंकि हमने कभी अपना एस्टेब्लिशमेंट सर्वे नहीं किया 2005 के बाद. तो ये हम तुक्के पे चल रहे हैं. हुकूमत पाकिस्तान देखती है कमर्शियल बिजली के मीटर कितने हैं और एक दो इस तरह की चीजें, और उसके हिसाब से एक एस्टिमेट लगा देती है. सो दैट्स द फर्स्ट फंडामेंटल प्रॉब्लम कि हमें पता ही नहीं है कि हमारे मुल्क में कितने छोटे बिजनेसेस एग्जैक्टली हैं, किस कैटेगरी में हैं, कितनी एम्प्लॉयमेंट वो जनरेट कर रहे हैं. सो दैट्स एन अदर इशू. और जस्ट टू पुट दिस इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट, नाइजीरिया जो कि हम जैसा मुल्क है, हम उसको शायद अपने से बेहतर ना समझते हो अफ्रीका में, मगर दे हैव अबाउट 40 मिलियन SMEs. 4 करोड़ बिजनेसेस हैं वहां छोटे और दरमियाने. सो दैट्स अ ह्यूज चैलेंज. सो दैट रिफ्लेक्ट्स, जो मैं बात करता हूं कि हुकूमत की पॉलिसीज ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि लोग डरते हैं अपने बिजनेस को रजिस्टर करने से, इसलिए हमें पता ही नहीं है कितने एग्जैक्टली हैं, एंड दैट्स अ बिग प्रॉब्लम. तो जो स्टार्टअप्स हैं वो इसका भी एक बहुत ही छोटा माइन्यूट परसेंटेज है जो कि टेक इनेबल होके स्केल करने लग रहे हैं. तो So I think we need to differentiate between traditional entrepreneurship, which relates to small businesses, and we really need that. 90% of Pakistan's GDP is dependent on SMEs. तो small businesses बहुत जरूरी हैं, मगर startups भी बहुत जरूरी हैं because fast growth जो है वो tech enabled startups और job creation at scale जो है वो ला सकते हैं. तो I think we need to differentiate these two separately. अहमद आपका कोई अभी भी disagreement है तो बता दें.
I mean, I would like to add to that as well. I think even at LCE, the way we are looking at entrepreneurship, एक तो हमारे standard programs हैं for incubation and acceleration, but we are also diversifying in terms of how we're enabling sort of more traditional entrepreneurs that we call sort of like our project-based training that we do. But the idea is that yes, those definitions also facilitate us in understanding के किस community को आपने कैसे sort of facilitate करने, handhold करने.
Sorry, just wanted to add one more thing. And one very important differentiation between traditional entrepreneurship and startup is value addition.
Yeah.
So normal traditional entrepreneur है वो उससे सिर्फ trading कर रहा हो, box moving from here to there. मगर जब तक value addition नहीं हो रही, तब तक आप I don't think we can call them a startup.
That's where I was mentioning the problem solution.
आप लड़ाई होने वाली हमारी. So बताएं.
Yeah, I was just saying that that's where I was mentioning the problem solution fit. That's what startup is. Like you are solving a problem. And I would also vouch what Sabah has just mentioned, that like if you don't differentiate between the SMEs and the startup, then the facilitation becomes a challenge, because we as an incubator have to define the outline and the structure of how to facilitate the different stages, levels and scale of the business. So yeah.
Ahmed, would you like to add briefly? Then we move the conversation आगे.
Look, I think what I agree with Badr is that they need to be looked at differently, right? They have a very different set of problems. I think we should just leave it at that. कि हाँ, we all agree that they're different. We all हाँ, segmentation करने की ज़रूरत है. They have different sets of problems. They're solving one problem. We're trying to solve a different problem.
Right.
So I think that's fine.
So we're talking about success and how we're identifying those factors that really help startups scale. But the other side of the coin is also the risk or the risk of failure. I mean, I think global success rate startup ka is less than 5%. Pakistan mein to I think there are additional sort of factors. Over coffee, abhi before our panel, Ahmed and I were discussing how there are a lot of exogenous factors that Pakistani entrepreneurs also have to deal with in addition to, setting up their own business. So, Badr, can you comment on sort of these risk factors that can also deter people from even thinking of starting a business?
Because absolutely. So I think something which changed in Pakistan around 2010, 2012 was कि पहले generally, even अभी भी हमारे majority schools, universities, colleges, they prepare kids and students for a better job. So हम job seeking mindset से जाते थे, job creating mindset हमें पढ़ाया नहीं जाता in our high school या college या university level mostly. And that's where 2012-14 में पाकिस्तान में जब incubators बनने शुरू हुए, accelerators आने शुरू हुए, तो things started to change. तो वो I think that was a tipping point. और जो मगर अभी भी हमारा mindset industrial economy से knowledge economy की तरफ नहीं गया. So a lot of startups need knowledge economy facilitation. तो for example एक important basic सा सवाल है कि Uber, Careem, Yango जैसी कंपनियां किस मिनिस्ट्री को रिपोर्ट करें, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ IT को रिपोर्ट करें या मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट को रिपोर्ट करें. So we haven't yet decided these kind of fundamental questions. हमें आज तक हुकूमत पाकिस्तान या कोई बैंक, 2 बैंक्स यहाँ स्पॉन्सर हैं, आप किसी से पूछ सकते हैं कि वो किसी कंपनी को, IT कंपनी को लैपटॉप्स के लिए लोन नहीं देते. फंडामेंटल चीजें बता रहा हूं आपको जो बिल्कुल हुकूमत पाकिस्तान ने भी में अगर आपने एक कंपनी बंद करनी है तो अहमद साहब बताएं कितना आसान है कंपनी बंद करना. कर रहे हैं? अच्छा, मजबूरी में कर रहे हैं या बाय चॉइस? हाँ, मजबूरी में कर रहे हैं. So कंपनी बंद करना स्टार्टअप्स के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज स्टार्टअप्स they have to become serial entrepreneurs. They have to do fundamental things. तो टैक्सेशन, अभी आप एक इनवॉइस जनरेट करते हैं तो उसमें इनकम टैक्स एम्बेडेड होता है, उसके ऊपर हम सेल्स टैक्स भी लगाते हैं. तो यानी इनकम टैक्स की वैल्यू के ऊपर भी सेल्स टैक्स देते हैं हम. अगेन फंडामेंटली सबको पता है 25 साल से हम गलती कर रहे हैं, 30 साल से फिर हम कर रहे हैं. हम सबको पता है कि हमने विद होल्डिंग टैक्स, कंपनी का काम नहीं है इकट्ठा करना, ये टैक्स अथॉरिटी का काम। सो देयर आर अबाउट 50-60 फंडामेंटल पॉलिसी, फंडामेंटल इश्यूज हैं जो हुकूमत पाकिस्तान ने ठीक करनी है, और एवरीवन एट द टॉप नोज समवन हैज टू मेक दैट कॉल। जब तक हम पॉलिसी की लैंडस्केप ठीक नहीं करेंगे तो हमारे वो बच्चे या लड़के लड़कियां या यंग मिडिल मैनेजर्स जो अपने नए आइडियाज को लेकर अपना स्टार्टअप बनाना चाहते हैं या अपना बिजनेस ग्रो करना चाहते हैं, वो नहीं कर पाएंगे। और लास्ट बात ये, हमें अपने आप को कंपैरिजन अपने पास्ट से नहीं करना, हमें अपना कंपैरिजन आज बाहर के उन ममालिक से करना है जो इस वक्त डिजिटल नोमैड वीजा ऑफर कर रहे हैं। अभी आप जाएं, आपको मलेशिया, इंडोनेशिया, एस्टोनिया, अब तो मेरा ख्याल दुबई वगैरह भी, थाईलैंड वगैरह, सब $2,000 पर मंथ की इनकम पे आपको डिजिटल नोमैड वीजा दे देते हैं। 5 ईयर टैक्स फ्री हॉलिडे। हमारे यहाँ हम टैक्स वालों से लड़ाई करते रहते हैं सारा दिन, वो खत्म होती है तो प्रोफेशनल टैक्स आ जाता है, वो खत्म होता है तो वर्कर्स वेलफेयर फंड 2% ऑफ द प्रॉफिट्स आ जाता है। सो ह्यूज फंडामेंटल पॉलिसी इश्यूज जिसकी वजह से मेजॉरिटी लोग डरते हैं एक्सपेरिमेंट करने का। So we need to facilitate experimentation. Startups need experimentation. So I think that's the fundamental challenge we have right now.
I mean, Ahmed, could you add to that as well? Because I think Manahil and would attest to this, because we work with startups very closely. On the one hand, is training them, but then they have to face the real world, and regulatory environment though is a serious bottleneck. So as an entrepreneur yourself in your previous life, and now that you're training entrepreneurs, I mean, just comment on this policy frameworks we're dealing with.
So it's interesting, like me and Badr were together when we went to see the Prime Minister, and the one agenda item that we had was really how to increase the money that freelancers can bring in. Can you imagine? And this is not that long ago. It was 5 years ago.
21.
So 3-4 years ago, we had to actually go to the Prime Minister, and we got that approved. From $5,000, they were now allowed to bring in $25,000, right? So these are the kind of challenges that we face: taxation, government departments. We all know these issues. I think part of the problem is, companies should own it as well. Now, the question why one company would want to go to the IT industry versus the transport industry, the IT industry is taxed less. Okay? So, you have a 1% tax on IT, but you have a 17% tax on transport. So now companies like, and this is an open thing, right? Companies like Careem and Uber, if they get regulated by the transport industry, they will have to pay a much higher tax rate. So they portray themselves as a tech platform which sort of navigates it. So I think part of the problem is ours as well, right? We try to exploit these little things that are available. So but to answer your question, these realities exist at the policy level. We've been trying for 10-15 years now, and we'll continue to try. Like, if you think it's hard I'm inside the government now and I can't do it.
Yeah.
So there is very little hope for, people outside to do it.
Manahil, I'm curious, आप कैसे देते हो तसल्ली startups को?
Sorry?
How do you sort of convince them कि it'll be fine?
Yeah, so again, I think it's a lot of, when I see entrepreneurs, I think it's a lot of resilience and their own traits to survive in this ecosystem at large. And that's why I keep mentorship at the core of all of this, because people who have done this before, when they talk to them, I think wo jo ek resonance aati hai, and then you get to hear from them and then relate to them, and then also be like, okay, maybe we can survive as well. Badr is one of our mentors. I think people like and founders like Badr are very encouraging for the early stage businesses to have on their advisory to get them running in the ecosystem. That's pretty much all I can say as support.
So we've been talking about enabling startups, the success factors, jo risk factors hain. Sticking to the theme of SOT, let's talk a little bit about the future. So Badr, let's say next 3 to 5 years, what are some of the sectors, industries, startups should be focusing on, and entrepreneurial enablers should, prioritize to support those kind of startup ideas?
Thank you, Sabha. I think मेरे ख्याल में the current state of incubators, accelerators, or the overall ecosystem has to now change rapidly. अगर आप में से जो लोग नहीं हैं टेक्नोलॉजी सेक्टर में, so I can tell you one term some of you might know, which is called vibe coding. Vibe coding is a new term. So अब आप artificial intelligence जिसको हम कहते हैं, I call it AK, not AK-47, just AK, which is aggregated knowledge, not artificial intelligence. अभी I think intelligence पे नहीं हम पहुंचे, हम knowledge aggregate कर रहे हैं. So that AK has helped us do a lot of programming. तो अब हम कोई भी चीज जो आप सोच सकते हैं आप बना सकते हैं, क्योंकि अब आपको कोई language programming नहीं आने की जरूरत. The only language you need to know is your own language. अपनी जबान आनी जरूरी है. आप अंग्रेजी में, उर्दू में, अरबिक में, किसी भी AI जिसको हम जनरली कहते हैं AI के टूल को कहें तो वो आपके लिए प्रोग्राम बना देगा, मोबाइल ऐप है या वेबसाइट है जो भी आप बनाना चाह रहे हैं. तो things will change. I think development is now a commodity. Infrastructure is now a commodity. I think where incubators and accelerators will really work well coming soon will be जहां जो हम challenges की बात कर रहे हैं अभी हम सब, ये वो challenges को अगर incubators और accelerators help करेंगे solve करने में. तो मेरा अगर idea है, मैं आया हूं तो मुझे SECP, FBR, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ पाकिस्तान वगैरह वगैरह के जितने PRA वगैरह जितने इदारे हैं उनसे इंटरेक्ट ना करना पड़े. मुझे वो वन विंडो मिल जाए अगर, तो मेरे लिए आसानी होगी कि मैं अपने आइडिया पे फोकस करूं और अपना टाइम उधर इन्वेस्ट करूं. एंड आई थिंक दैट्स वेयर थिंग्स विल बी. तो एक ये चेंज आएगी. एक चेंज जो लानी चाहिए बड़ी जरूरी है और हम बहुत पीछे रह गए हैं, विच आई कॉल द करिकुलम लेटेंसी. हम अभी अर्ली 2000s के करिकुलम पढ़ रहे हैं, जो भी पढ़ाया जा रहा है वो बहुत पुराना हो गया है. I think we need to improve and upgrade our curriculum, and that's where HEC and Ministry of Education comes in. And since we are here at School of Tomorrow, I think it's super relevant कि हमारे curriculums change हो. AI कैसे इस्तेमाल करना है in day-to-day lives. So things will change. But last thing, अभी recently Google ने एक research launch किया, आप online देख सकते हैं. It's been a couple of years. उसका नाम है Unlocking Pakistan's Digital Economy. 200-400 सफ़ों की किताब है. और उसमें बहुत रिसर्च से गूगल ने ये बताया है कि अगर पाकिस्तान अपने 10 सेक्टर्स में AI, ब्लॉकचेन, IoT वगैरह को सही तरह इंप्लीमेंट कर ले तो हम $60 बिलियन, 6 अरब रुपए की नई डोमेस्टिक इकोनॉमी क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, सिर्फ डोमेस्टिक. एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी रियली नीड एज वेल, बिकॉज डोमेस्टिक स्ट्रांग होगी तो एक्सपोर्ट भी बढ़ेगी. तो आई थिंक देयर इज अ ह्यूज अपॉर्चुनिटी. जैसे अहमद ने बात की और मिनाहल ने, बहुत कुछ हो सकता है. We just need some impetus to do it and some encouragement from the government policy making to facilitate that.
I mean, I think one of the things we were discussing while we were waiting for the panel to happen was this disconnect between skills development, job creation, and entrepreneurship. And Ahmed, you were talking about, creating skills development for export. So what can we do to really retain that talent by creating entrepreneurs who can really, create that kind of employment? And are you able to maybe identify, so Badr Saab ne mentioned here some of the areas that we really need to invest in, but at a sectoral level, can you identify industries that can really sort of help Pakistan make it on the map of entrepreneurship?
So I think the tech part has been covered, right? You talk about AI, blockchain, IoT, and all these things. So what we're doing now is for export sector, हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि यार, firstly, what are the skills? So what is the curriculum? Then what are the skills? And then what is the accreditation that is needed for our people to be acceptable in other countries? So your training methodologies हैं. So first of all, international accreditation and international curriculum is very important. ठीक है? Say what you want, our education system, apart from the elite schools and elite institutions, is not very well thought of anywhere in the world. So for now, we need to bring in international, whether it's a Pearson, whether it's CTH or City and Guilds. So we need to sort of bring in these sort of certifications. to help out. And then the other thing is कि we need to change our training methodologies. अब वो ज़माने ख़त्म हो गए हैं कि जी आप क्लासरूम में बिठाएं, 8 कुर्सियां लगाएं, सामने टीचर ब्लैक बोर्ड के ऊपर उनको सिखाए. अब you need to train them on simulators using AR, VR, these technologies to actually. So even if you're training an electrician, rather than taking him to a plug, you show him that in 3D and you say, okay, look, when you move this part, this happens. These are the different parts of it. So simulators and that part of the technology is needed. Then the last thing that we're working on is sort of the image building, right? So I think Pakistan as a tech destination, or Pakistan as a destination for manpower, is still looked upon very skeptically by the rest of the world. So this is where the diplomacy and sort of our foreign policy and our foreign image really needs to be strengthened. And that's what what we're working on. Aapne sectors ka pucha, sorry, I know I sort of dodged your question, put my point of view, but I'm going to come back to it. So the sectors that we're focusing on very heavily are things like climate, and more specifically sustainable agriculture.
Right.
That's something that the whole world wants. That's sort of a good mix of technology and sort of your traditional sectors. We're looking at hospitality very closely. People, hotels and restaurants, they require a lot of people. Retail sector needs a lot of trained people. All of these sectors are being shaped by technology in very different ways. Like retail is moving online, but you still need people who are going to be retail consultants. The care sector is very important. Right. Nurses ho gayi, basic caregivers ho gaye, nannies ho gaye, child care ho gaya, elderly care ho gaya. These are also sectors that that are needed everywhere. Construction, again, a lot of the construction is moving to machinery. So you need to train people on these machinery, like, you had all these, beautiful masons who could do, all this sort of construction work by hand. Now there's a lot of machinery that gets used in it. So these are sort of the sectors that the world is looking at and Pakistan is looking at to promote locally as well as internationally.
Right. I think all of those sectors are very relevant, and actually hamara bhi, the way our incubation center is set up is we remain sector agnostic ताकि we are able to cater to these sort of changing patterns and demands. And Minail, the last question is for you on the panel before we move to Q&A. We're talking about this transition we're seeing in the education sector as well. University industry linkages ki humne baat ki, and how we're actually training startups or looking at how skills development is taking place in universities. That needs to change fundamentally as well. But when you're measuring impact, or let's say you're looking at success rate of a startup, are you also exercising that fluidity in how you're defining success? How do you define success for a startup?
Acha, so now there are two components of success. Like for us as an incubator, how we define our success is mainly exactly the number of startups that are still surviving, that we have graduated or passed out. That's one component of success measure or impact for us. Then there's success for the startups that we have graduated as well. So we definitely track them on multiple factors, and I would broadly define them in 4 segments, which is enterprise growth and sustainability, employment generation, capital mobilization, and then innovation or expansion. So we definitely look at how startup is surviving, what are their revenue to date, and what is their progression to profitability. Have they formalized the company after leaving us or while they are with us? Then we look at the quality and quantity of employment they have created in terms of employment for females, direct jobs, indirect jobs for females and youth. And then we also look at how they were able to mobilize capital for their startup, whether in terms of grants, fundraising, investment, or representing at international or local investment platforms. And then lastly is what we look at is how many partnerships they have successfully maintained or achieved in the industry. How many new products have they launched after graduating, and then also technology adoption and so on. So these are multiple factors that we definitely track and also support the startup once they graduate from our programs to facilitate all of these KPIs as well. So yeah.
Some diverse factors.
फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम्स हैं ये
हाँ जी.
मैं कहा फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम्स हैं हम तो सिर्फ इनकम जनरेशन देखते हैं जॉब्स क्रिएटेड देखते हैं
No, I think we keep so many metrics कि चलो एक में तो success show होगा and we'll say they're successful.
For
We keep
us,
a generous.
success is different. That's what I've already identified.
Yeah. So the conversation will continue. It's just we'll give the audience now a chance to interact. If you do have questions, you can use the SOT app to put in your question, and I'm told it'll show up on the screen on the right. So if you have downloaded the app, please feel free to enter your questions now. I mean, I think I'm still learning, even though I am part of an incubator. मुझे लग रहा है आज I've learned quite a bit. But if there are questions, you can submit them and they'll show up on the, we have them, okay. So the first question is, what challenges do entrepreneurial centers face in ensuring that AI resources remain accessible to startups from diverse socio-economic backgrounds? Badr Saab, you don't think we're in the age of AI, we're in the age of AK. Do you want to take that question?
मैं भी ऐड करता हूँ and absolutely anyone else. So I think we are in a big challenge right now as कि हमने पाकिस्तान में what we call हमारा sovereign stack नहीं है. हमारा कोई अपना AI मॉडल नहीं है, हमारा अपना कोई हार्डवेयर स्टैक नहीं है, कोई सॉफ्टवेयर स्टैक नहीं है. We are very dependent on international models. अब हमें समझ नहीं आ रही कि हम चाइनीज डीप सीक को समझें या अमेरिकन चैट जीपीटी समझें. और तनियामिन स्क्वायर का सवाल कहाँ पूछना है और पैलेस्टाइन का कहाँ पूछना है, बिकॉज दे आर ऑल बायस्ड मॉडल्स अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर ओन लैंड लॉ ऑफ द लैंड. मगर हमारा अपना कोई नैरेटिव नहीं है इस पर. सो वी डोंट हैव एनी स्टैक एंड आई थिंक द मिनिस्ट्री हैज नॉट येट टेकन एनी स्ट्रॉन्ग इनिशिएटिव या पॉलिसी मेकिंग या गवर्नमेंट कि हम अपना AI स्टैक, तो हम किसी को क्या प्रोवाइड करेंगे. हमारे पास तो अभी अपने GPUs ही नहीं है एंड वी हैवंट डन एनी R&D. बट अगर कोई और ऐड करना चाहता है तो प्लीज.
हमारे प्रोग्राम्स में वी हैव अ कपल ऑफ मैंडेटरी मॉड्यूल्स, राइट. एक तो AI प्रॉम्प्टिंग का इज अ मैंडेटरी मॉड्यूल. ऑब्वियसली ये मतलब दिस इज लर्निंग हाउ टू यूज AI, नॉट लर्निंग हाउ टू बिल्ड AI. तो जैसे बदर ने कहा बिल्डिंग AI तो हमारे बस की बात तो नहीं है, लेकिन हम अपने सारे जो बेनिफिशरीज होते हैं या स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं उनको ये जरूर सिखाते हैं कि and obviously then we pay for those services, right. And most of these AI resources are free, or at least you can find a free version for pretty much everything. The other thing that we focus on is soft skills, right, which includes financial inclusion, digital financial inclusion. So everyone that goes through our program needs to have a digital wallet. Everyone who goes through our program needs to know it's important to come on time, right? So ये तीन चार चीजें, and obviously the fourth thing that we do is climate, right? कि जी how to क्या कहते हैं, be more environmentally conscious.
Right.
So these are sort of the modules that we've built into every program that we do. And before this year, AI was obviously not a part of it, but now AI is a huge part of everything that we do. But even if we're teaching a tailor, we still teach them, okay, this is how you can go to ChatGPT and find what the latest designs are, find the latest techniques. So, but again, I think luckily they mostly are free, so it's not like the cost isn't a big element.
Right. Can we?
एक और चीज मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा. जस्ट FYI, ऑन द पॉलिसी साइड हमने AI की पॉलिसी बनाई हुई है. मेरा कुछ 6-8 महीने हो गए उसको पब्लिश हुए, बट हमारी कोई एक्शन आइटम्स नहीं है गवर्नमेंट के. दे हैव नॉट येट बीन पब्लिश. उसके रूल्स ऑफ बिजनेस नहीं बने. सो आई नो एन एवरेज पर्सन वुडंट अंडरस्टैंड कि ये क्यों जरूरी है, बट सरकार को काम करने के लिए 2-3 चीजें जरूरी हैं. खाली पॉलिसी बनाना सिर्फ तस्वीर खिंचाने के बराबर है. इसका मतलब हमने उसके आगे कोई काम नहीं किया. So on a policy level front as well, AI पे हमने कोई काम नहीं किया. To be very honest. So prompting, I absolutely agree, is very important. But I think जो सवाल था कि हमारे resources available होने चाहिए AI के, वो हमारे अपने है ही नहीं, तो हम available क्या करेंगे?
But luckily IT जो है ना federal subject है, तो provincial government का उसमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है.
Good answer. ठीक है.
Okay, so the next question is, how can entrepreneurial centers ensure long-term sustainability while supporting a large number of early-stage ventures? I think, Manahil, this one's for you.
Yeah, so long-term sustainability of the ventures, they mean?
I think the question means for early-stage ventures, how do you ensure कि centers sustainable rate in terms of the kind of support they're
So,
extending?
so we have like at our center, we have a very structured program designed, which is designed with the input of a lot of founders who have already done and dusted this in the past. So I believe this is just a support that we can ensure that helps them to bring their enterprises to a level of sustainability. And then there is a lot of support that we provide in terms of ongoing mentorship, ongoing post they graduate as well. Once a startup graduates from the entrepreneurship center, it's not like we never get back to them. We always support them in terms of if they need any industry linkage, if they are looking to expand internationally and want to connect or be connected with somebody. So that's how we ensure that we provide them a sustainable support so they can grow sustainably.
Adding to that, I was listening to Dr. Kamal Munir yesterday at the inauguration, and he sort of talked about this concept that we're also working on, which is a lifelong journey, the lifelong learning journey. So I think ये जो है ना कि the sustainability now it needs to be built in such a way that they have to keep coming back for relearning. So these 6-month programs are no longer enough. So now we're building a very modular learning system. So using LMS, using AI, on-demand learning, personalized learning, कि जी आप आए, आप सीखें, साल बाद आपको वापस आना ही पड़ेगा to learn the next level. So
and creating those channels for integrating that conversation as well. So I know at our incubation center, what we do is we're constantly in touch with the industry experts. We have mentors. Hopefully, we can now rope you in, Ahmed, as well as a official mentor to our startups as well. Badar to hai hi. And the idea is that our curriculum also is constantly evolving. So that it's actually sort of responding to these changing needs. So even if the startups keep coming back throughout the journey, we're there to sort of support them and have those kind of resources at hand.
Yeah, and also just to add to your point, we have also tried to move on to an LMS model where we are trying that the entrepreneurs can adapt their learning according to their needs. We have a centralized LMS which is Zamzex. So we are trying to formalize our trainings and different components of entrepreneurial learning onto the LMS so digital learning can support the entrepreneur wherever they are, if not in the country, in the near future, so they can definitely integrate that.
If I may add a little bit, sorry, मैं थोड़ा सा challenging point से आ रहा हूँ, but I think the way we are learning is going to be changing. हमें स्कूलों में सिखाया नहीं जाता कि नई चीज कैसे सीखनी है, हमें सिर्फ रट्टा लगवाया जाता है, and hence that's a big problem.
Right.
So we need to change our education system. We need to actually teach kids on how to learn a new thing every time. हमें आदत ही नहीं नई चीज सीखने की. हम समझते हैं हमने मास्टर्स कर लिया, हम लकीर के फकीर है, अब हम पक्का यही है बस फाइनल हरफ आखिर. और मैं इसलिए ये कह रहा हूँ, मैं खुद भी आई एम पार्ट ऑफ द फैकल्टी एट लम्स and I can tell you that that's a big challenge. People don't want to change. People don't want to learn new things. So we need to accept the reality कि change बहुत speed पे आ रही है और हमारी पुरानी सीखी हुई चीजें हमें unlearn करनी है और नई चीजें relearn करनी है. And actually that's a gap of unlearning and relearning where we are missing out. We don't accept the reality कि हमें नई चीजें सीखनी है. तो जैसे अभी अहमद ने कहा, I mean very honestly, when I go and teach is not because I'm teaching. Actually, I'm learning because वो नए बच्चे जो Gen Z और Gen Alpha है, they are far ahead of us in certain things. उनके पास knowledge बहुत है, शायद wisdom नहीं है, वो हम थोड़ा सा ले आते हैं. But I think it's a bi-directional learning both ways for everyone. So I think that's also important.
I think so. The next question is related to what you're saying. And there is, so our education system में तो है ही inequality, right? You have certain schools that are teaching critical skills or those soft skills that maybe prepare them to be a better entrepreneur in terms of maybe how they're accessing market or starting a business. The question is, what is one thing that entrepreneurial centers can do to make it easier for ordinary people, not just tech founders or people from really, great educational backing, grow a business in Pakistan? Ahmed, do you want to go first?
मैं लड़ाई कर लूँ थोड़ी सी फिर मैं नाहिल पे हम एंटरप्रेन्योर सेंटर नहीं आप पहले शुरू करें.
This is a tough one, right? To give one thing that क्या कहते हैं, to start and grow a business. So देखिए, हम लोग तो access दे सकते हैं, right? I think the number one thing that we should do is just give access to everyone. The problem I feel with incubators and accelerators is कि अभी भी there's so few. And they're sort of very elite focused. They're only in our top universities. They're only housed, in the top companies. So I think थोड़ा सा, inclusivity की तरफ जाना पड़ेगा to give access to other people as well. I've sat on these panels at LCE and NIC or Plan 9 and all of these. And there's just such a heavy bias towards, the big thing, the buzzwords and all of that. So I think we need to sort of, again, now that I do more mass work, for the people, so I think थोड़ा सा उस पे मेरा तो bias अब उस तरफ ज़्यादा होगा.
So yeah, if I may add, तो जो accessibility की बात है, I think one accessibility could be from the mode of delivery, language of delivery, which is like if you say for maybe very ordinary people, definitely I understand LUMS's curriculum and our trainings are very heavy in terms of English language of training. But then we have in the past also tried to make our center, our support very accessible by also including bilingual, and then also at the core curriculum we have in incubation now is on LUMS-X and would now be translated into Urdu as well.
Right.
So entirely Urdu is one, I think, that would bring accessibility to a larger pool. Then also LUMS Center for Entrepreneurship in the past has also brought in a lot of micro entrepreneurs to train them on the entrepreneurial skills. We have done in the past multiple projects. So a lot of our support comes through the projects based activities where we directly facilitate the SMEs, I would say, in terms of learning these entrepreneurial skills. बाकी जो in terms of I think bias की बात है, I wouldn't agree to that honestly, because I think it's a reluctance in general public regarding the university-led incubators. I think आप LUMS का नाम लेते हैं तो बहुत लोग generally reluctant हो जाते हैं in terms of applying, which is not the case and shouldn't be the case, because our selection criteria is very unbiased and it's very explicit. I think Badr would know we do our final selection of startups with external panelists, and it has nothing to do at all on the evaluation criteria with your education background, with your degree, or with your background in terms of the social economic background. That has nothing to do. We have had founders in the past who are just matriculate and have survived throughout our incubation. So I would say the reluctance is from the other side, not in terms of our selection. So yeah, we are trying to make it more accessible.
टिपिकल हो जाता है ना कि जी नहीं जी मैं तो सबके लिए खुला है, वो गरीब आदमी नहीं आना चाहता, इसमें मेरा क्या कसूर है?
वैसे नहीं, I think I agree to you कि bias exist करता है, but I have again a different opinion to that. But recently अभी LUMS Center for Entrepreneurship ने एक startup weekend host किया हुआ था, and it was refreshing to see a Food Panda rider win the hackathon. Food Panda rider, और वो rider है और उसने identify किया कि Food Panda एक काम क्या नहीं करता जो मुझे कर लेना चाहिए, और उसके लिए उसने स्टेट बैंक को भी एप्लीकेशन डाल के उनके सैंड बॉक्स में पहुंच गया। सो आई वाज इम्प्रेस्ड थॉरली बाय द वे। बट एनीवे, मेरा ओपिनियन थोड़ा सा फर्क है, मेरे हिसाब से ये सवाल ही गलत है। ये कुछ सेंटर्स फॉर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पब्लिक एट लार्ज को नई बेनिफिट दे सकते, और कभी भी हो ही नहीं सकता है, कभी स्केल ही नहीं हो सकता. So I think we need to change our education system. We need to start teaching entrepreneurship at school level to the kids. हमारे बच्चों को पता होना चाहिए कि मैंने जॉब नहीं ढूंढनी, मैंने जॉब क्रिएट करनी है. ये माइंडसेट अर्ली स्टेज प्राइमरी लेवल से शुरू होना चाहिए. So we need to change the education system fundamentally. Absolutely. दूसरा मेरा इस पे एक और बहुत बड़ा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये है कि हम स्टूडेंट्स की बात करते हैं, हम जनरल एजुकेशन सिस्टम की बात करते हैं, हम फैकल्टी की बात नहीं करते. तो फैकल्टी को भी अपस्किल करना जरूरी है, एंड दैट्स अ बिग गैप. Majority, and again I say because I am also part of the faculty, majority faculty at higher education institutes ने वहीं से पढ़ा और वहीं पढ़ा रहे हैं. उन्होंने मार्केट का एक भी धक्का नहीं खाया. जब तक आप मार्केट के धक्के नहीं खाएंगे, आप बच्चों को सही नहीं पढ़ा सकते कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप क्या होगी. सो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पढ़ाने वाले भी सिर्फ वही होने चाहिए जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हों प्रैक्टिकली. सो एक वो मसला है. सो फैकल्टी की अपस्किलिंग जरूरी है. तीसरा मसला HEC की पॉलिसी है. HEC की पॉलिसी के मुताबिक किसी फैकल्टी की प्रमोशन का कोई क्राइटेरिया बच्चे की सक्सेस से ताल्लुक नहीं रखता. उनकी प्रमोशन होती है उनकी रिसर्च की बेसिस पे. अगर आप में से किसी ने आज तक पाकिस्तानी किसी फैकल्टी मेंबर की रिसर्च पढ़ के इस्तेमाल किए काम में, तो हाथ खड़ा कर दें. एंड आई कैन टेल यू
नहीं, आई थिंक तो ये कॉन्वर्सेशन तो कैन कंटिन्यू.
एक मैं लास्ट, आई नो वी नीड टू रैप अप, बट एक मैं लास्ट बता दूं कि ये क्यों जरूरी है. जो सवाल है बहुत जरूरी है और ये करना चाहिए. एक आपने एक्सपोर्ट का सवाल किया था, एंड आई वांटेड टू ऐड कनेक्ट दिस टू दैट. सो पाकिस्तान की आबादी 225 मिलियन के करीब है, 20-22-25 करोड़ के करीब हम लोग हैं, और हमारी एक्सपोर्ट अभी $40 बिलियन नहीं टच कर सक रही. सिंगापुर की आबादी सिर्फ 50 या 60 लाख लोग हैं, 50 या 60 लाख, 5 मिलियन मैक्स पॉपुलेशन है. उनकी एक्सपोर्ट $500 बिलियन है सालाना, एंड जीरो रॉ मटेरियल. हमारे पास पानी, कॉपर, ऑयल, गैस, वुड, वाटर, क्या नहीं है हमारे पास, यूरेनियम, एवरीथिंग. और हमारे पास 225 मिलियन लोग हैं, उनके पास सिर्फ 5 मिलियन लोग हैं, और $500 बिलियन ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट. We certainly need to reset the system. We can't fix the system. The system is completely broken. So the policy making जो थोड़ी-थोड़ी हम करते हैं, इससे कुछ नहीं होना. And we are going south. Very honestly, the real numbers तस्वीरें खिंचाने से आगे जाने की जरूरत है हमें. We certainly need to kill the MOU culture. जो MOU culture हमारा बना हुआ है, we need to kill that. And sorry, it's not nothing. मैंने भी गवर्नमेंट में काम किया, and I can tell you, we certainly need to completely reset the system.
So with that passionate appeal, I will conclude the session because we're running out of time. But you have these sort of amazing brains on stage. इनको आपने घेर लेने, जाने नहीं देना. The moment they get off the stage, pick their brains. But I do want to really summarize very quickly some key takeaways from our discussion today. I think as entrepreneurial enablers, you know, it's very inspiring, but it's also very frustrating for us to watch a startup's journey, you know. हम जितना भी उनको support कर लें, there are a lot of exogenous factors that they have to deal with that can also, in the end, make or break their journey. So that regulatory environment, the structural support they need, the infrastructure, the policy environment that they need, these are all very, very important. And I feel like bottom line yehi hai ki entrepreneurial centers, they of course need to work on expanding their inclusivity, institutions like PSDF, even at an individual level, mentors such as yourself, the support they can provide, it's absolutely crucial because fail fast wala hum jitna marzi de dein advice, the chances of restarting are not innumerable for Pakistani startups. So the bottom line is that entrepreneurial centers, enablers are as important as part of the startup journey as the startup founder themselves. So with that, I'd like to thank all of our panelists, Minahil, Ahmed, Badr, thank you so much for being part of our panel. And also the organizers at SOT for inviting us, for being so immaculate in your coordination and your organization. And we invite you to sort of fill out the feedback forms that you have on the app. And please do engage with our panelists. Don't let them leave very easily. Thank you.